You are constantly busy, rushing from one task to another, saying yes to every request and trying to keep up with everything. But at the end of the day, you feel exhausted, unfocused, and unsure if any of it really mattered. What if there was a better way? Essentialism will help you break free from the cycle of busyness and focus on what is truly important. Instead of trying to do everything, you will learn how to choose only the most valuable tasks, the ones that bring real results and meaning to your life. You will stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling in control. This book will help you simplify your decisions, protect your time, and achieve more with less effort. If you want to stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and start living with purpose, Essentialism will show you how. Part 1: Core Mindset of an Essentialist. You always have a choice. You wake up feeling exhausted. Before your feet even touch the ground, your mind is racing with all the things you need to do. Your inbox is full, your calendar is packed, and people are already asking for your time and attention. It feels like you have no choice. You have to keep up, say yes, and push through. But what if that isn't true? Most people go through life believing that they have no control over their time. They think they have to do what is expected of them, that their schedule belongs to their boss, their coworkers, their family, or even society. But the truth is, you always have a choice. An essentialist understands this deeply. No one else decides how you spend your time. You do. Even in situations where it feels like you have no control, the power to choose is still yours. You may not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. The moment you accept this, everything changes. You stop feeling like a victim of your schedule. You stop blaming others for your lack of time. Instead of reacting to every demand, you pause, reflect, and make intentional decisions. You choose what deserves your time and energy. This shift is the foundation of essentialism. If you believe you have no choice, you will stay stuck in an endless cycle of busyness and frustration. But when you realize that every yes and every no is within your control, you take the first step toward a life of purpose and focus. Most things don't matter. Life is filled with distractions. Every day, you are bombarded with tasks, messages, meetings, favors, and responsibilities. Some seem urgent, some feel important, and some just take up space in your life. The truth is, most of them don't actually matter. The biggest mistake people make is treating everything as if it's equally important. They rush to respond to emails, accept every meeting request, and say yes to every little favor, all while putting off the work that could actually make a difference. They spend their time being busy instead of being productive. An essentialist sees things differently. Instead of assuming everything matters, you start questioning everything. Is this truly necessary? Will this task make a real impact? Or is it, am I doing this because it's important or just because it's expected? The moment you start asking these questions, you begin to see reality more clearly. You stop filling your days with low value tasks and instead focus only on the few things that create the greatest results. This is the key to true productivity: not doing more, but doing less of the unimportant and more of the essential. When you master this way of thinking, you stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling in control. You no longer let other people's demands dictate your life. You choose where your energy goes, and because of that, you achieve far more than the average person ever could. You can't have it all, so choose wisely. Most people want to do everything. They want to succeed at work, have deep relationships, stay healthy, pursue hobbies, and be available for everyone who needs them. But the hard truth is, you can't do it all. Every choice you make comes with a cost. If you say yes to one thing, you are automatically saying no to something else. The problem is, many people don't acknowledge these trade offs. They try to squeeze everything in, believing they can somehow balance it all. But in reality, they stretch themselves too thin, becoming exhausted and ineffective. They don't have enough energy for their work, enough patience for their family, or enough time to take care of themselves. An essentialist understands that trade offs are not something to avoid, they are something to embrace. Instead of pretending you can do everything, you make a conscious choice about what to focus on. You start asking yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Is this the best use of my time and energy? Will this choice move me closer to the life I want or further away? By accepting that you can't do everything, You give yourself permission to focus on what truly matters. You stop feeling guilty about saying no. You stop trying to keep up with expectations that don't align with your goals. Instead, you make space for what brings the greatest value to your life. This isn't about sacrifice, it's about freedom. When you stop trying to do everything, you gain control over your life. You no longer waste time on things that drain you. Instead, you invest your energy in the things that bring you the most meaning, fulfillment, and success. That is the mindset of an essentialist. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. Part 2. Explore. How can we discern the trivial many from the vital few? Escape. The perks of being unavailable. Imagine a life where you don't feel the constant pull of notifications, emails, and endless demands. A life where you aren't expected to respond instantly or be available 24/7. Most people believe they have to be accessible at all times, that if they step away, they will miss something important. But the truth is, being constantly available makes it impossible to focus on what really matters. An essentialist knows that unavailability is not a weakness, it's a strength. You can't figure out what is truly important if you are always reacting to what's urgent. Creativity, clarity, and deep thinking require space. But if your day is filled with distractions, you never have time to explore new ideas, reflect on your goals, or focus on meaningful work. This is why you must escape. Not by quitting your job or running away from responsibilities, but by carving out time to step away from the noise. Silence your phone. The world will not collapse if you don't check your messages for an hour. Block out time to think. Create space in your schedule to reflect, dream, and strategize. Say no to constant meetings. Not every conversation needs to happen immediately. Take real breaks. Walking, resting, or spending time in nature helps your mind reset. When you create space for yourself, you give your brain the freedom to process, prioritize, and see things clearly. Instead of rushing through life in a reactive state, you begin to act with intention. You stop letting other people's demands control you and start taking control of your own time. The best ideas don't come when you're drowning in distractions. They come when you step away, slow down, and allow yourself the freedom to think. Look, see what really matters. Most people assume they know what's important. They look at deadlines, to-do lists, or what everyone else is focusing on and assume those things must be the priority. But in reality, most people are so busy that they never stop to question whether they are spending time on the right things. An essentialist takes a different approach. Instead of rushing from task to task, you pause and look deeper. You train yourself to see patterns, recognize opportunities, and identify what truly deserves your attention. You stop assuming that just because something is urgent, it is important. How do you do this? By asking yourself the right questions. If I could only work on one thing today, what would it be? Which tasks will create the biggest impact? What is truly necessary, and what can I eliminate? Essentialists don't make decisions based on pressure or expectations. They look for what truly moves the needle, the few tasks, projects, or opportunities that will make the greatest difference. They step back, observe, and filter out the noise. When you develop this ability, you stop wasting time on the trivial many and start focusing on the vital few. You no longer feel overwhelmed because you aren't trying to do everything. Instead, you are doing only what matters most, and that changes everything. Play, embrace the wisdom of your inner child. Most people think of play as something childish, something you do when you have extra time, not something that belongs in a serious, productive life. But what if play is not a waste of time? What if it's actually one of the most important things you can do? An essentialist understands that play is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It sparks creativity, reduces stress, and helps you see the world with fresh eyes. Think about how children approach life. They experiment, explore, and imagine without worrying about results. They don't force creativity, it flows naturally. As adults, we often lose this ability. We focus so much on work and responsibilities that we forget how to play, explore, and enjoy the process. We believe productivity means being serious all the time, but the truth is, some of the greatest breakthroughs in history, from scientific discoveries to artistic masterpieces, have come from people who allowed themselves to play. How do you embrace the wisdom of your inner child? Make time for curiosity. Follow your interests without needing a specific outcome. Engage in fun, unstructured activities. Play sports, make art, or explore a new hobby. Allow yourself to experiment. Try new ideas without fear of failure. Surround yourself with playful people. Laughter and creativity are contagious. When you stop seeing play as a distraction and start seeing it as fuel for your mind, you unlock a new level of creativity and energy. You stop feeling drained by constant work and start approaching life with more excitement, imagination, and clarity. Sleep. Protect the asset. You are your most valuable asset. Your mind, body, and energy determine how much you can achieve. But if you are constantly exhausted, distracted, and running on empty, you will never perform at your best. This is why sleep is non negotiable. Most people treat sleep as optional. They sacrifice rest for work, thinking they will get more done if they push through. But in reality, the less you sleep, the worse your decisions, focus, and creativity become. Sleep is not wasted time, it's what allows you to function at your highest level. An essentialist life prioritizes sleep because they understand that being well rested leads to better results. Instead of working longer hours in a tired state, they work smarter by ensuring they are well rested, focused, and energized. How do you protect your most valuable asset? Set a consistent sleep schedule. Your body thrives on routine. Create a relaxing bedtime ritual. Avoid screens, dim the lights, and wind down. Understand that rest is productive. The better you sleep, the better you perform. Don't wait for burnout to rest. Prioritize sleep before exhaustion forces you to. When you treat sleep as an essential part of success, you stop running on fumes. You wake up refreshed, focused, and ready to give your best to what truly matters. Being an essentialist isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things. And one of the smartest things you can do is protect your energy, creativity, and well being. Select the power of extreme criteria. Most people struggle with decision making. They feel overwhelmed by choices, unsure of what to commit to and what to let go of. The problem is that they use weak criteria for making decisions. They ask, "Can I do this?" instead of, "Should I do this?" They say yes because something is good enough rather than waiting for what is truly great. An essentialist thinks differently. Instead of saying yes to anything that seems interesting, useful, or somewhat important, you apply extreme criteria to every decision. The key is to ask yourself, is this absolutely essential? If I could only do one thing, would this be it? Does this align perfectly with my top priorities? If the answer is not a clear, undeniable yes, then the answer is no. Think about the last time you took on a commitment that drained your time and energy. If you had used extreme criteria, you might have avoided it. The truth is, saying yes to something average means saying no to something extraordinary. When you start applying extreme criteria, decision making becomes simple. You stop wasting energy on endless choices and start focusing only on what truly deserves your time. Part 3. Eliminate. How can we cut out the trivial many? Clarify. One decision that makes 1,000. Imagine if one decision could remove hundreds of future choices from your life. That's the power of clarity. When you define what truly matters, you don't have to keep deciding over and over again. You set a clear standard and everything else falls into place. Most people waste time debating small choices every day, what to work on, what to say yes to, what to prioritize. An essentialist eliminates this mental clutter by making one clear decision that guides all future decisions. For example, if you decide that family comes first, then you don't have to think twice about skipping unnecessary work events. If you decide that health is a priority, then you don't need to debate whether to exercise or not. If you decide that deep work matters more than busy work, then you automatically say no to distractions. The clearer your priorities, the easier your life becomes. Instead of constantly making decisions, you simply follow the path you've already set. You eliminate the trivial many, not by fighting them one by one, but by making one powerful decision that removes them all at once. When you clarify what truly matters, you free yourself from decision fatigue. You no longer waste time on what doesn't align with your purpose. Instead, you live with focus, direction, and peace of mind. Dare the power of a graceful no. Saying no can feel uncomfortable, especially when you're worried about letting others down. Many people avoid saying no because they fear appearing rude, missing out on opportunities, or feeling guilty. But in reality, saying yes to everything leads to overwhelm and burnout. To truly live a life of focus and intention, you must learn how to say no. An essentialist understands that every yes comes at a cost. When you say yes to something unimportant, you are automatically saying no to something more valuable. The key to effective decision making is learning how to say no, not just for the sake of rejecting requests, but to create space for what matters most. The challenge is that people often believe saying no means being rude or rejecting others, but a graceful no can be done with kindness and respect. It's about communicating clearly while also preserving relationships. Here's how you can say no gracefully. Be direct, but kind. Instead of offering vague excuses, simply say, I appreciate the opportunity, but I have to decline. Express gratitude. Show appreciation for the offer, even if you can't accept it. For example, thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit to this right now. Offer an alternative. If you can help in a different way, consider suggesting another solution. I'm unable to take this on, but I know someone who might be a great fit. It's also important to remember that saying no doesn't mean you don't care. You can show respect for the other person's request while still protecting your time. Saying no with grace is a skill that gets easier the more you practice it. When you start saying no to the non essential, you open up space to say yes to the things that truly align with your values and goals. You no longer waste time on things that drain you or don't move you forward. You're free to focus on what brings real meaning to your life. Uncommit, win big by cutting your losses. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that sometimes the best decision is to let go. People often stick with commitments simply because they've already invested time, money, or energy. They think, I've put so much into this, I can't walk away now. But this kind of thinking only leads to continued frustration and wasted time. An essentialist knows that clinging to a bad decision just leads to more wasted energy. The key to moving forward in life is understanding when to cut your losses. Just because you've committed to something doesn't mean you have to stay committed forever. The sooner you recognize a bad decision and make the choice to uncommit, the sooner you can redirect your energy to what truly matters. You can ask yourself a simple question to help guide this decision. If I weren't already invested in this, would I still choose it today? If the answer is no, it's time to walk away. Letting go isn't failure, it's a sign of maturity and wisdom. The sooner you uncommit, the more energy you have to invest in the things that are aligned with your goals. Here's how you can apply this mindset. Drop projects that no longer serve you. If a project no longer aligns with your priorities or isn't yielding results, it's time to let it go. Cancel unnecessary meetings. If meetings aren't contributing to your main objectives, consider eliminating them from your calendar. Walk away from relationships that drain your energy. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who constantly take. Let go of outdated plans or goals. If a long-term goal no longer excites you or fits your current vision, it's okay to move on and create new ones. Walking away from something you've invested in can feel hard, but it's actually a powerful choice. It frees up time and energy to focus on what will create the most value. When you uncommit from the wrong things, you make room for the right ones, and that's when you win. Edit. The invisible art. In life, many people are overwhelmed with constant demands and distractions. They feel the pressure to do more, be more, and juggle every task that comes their way. However, the art of editing, choosing what to keep and what to eliminate, is the secret to living a focused, intentional life. Editing is about more than just removing tasks or responsibilities. It's about making deliberate decisions on what truly contributes to your success and happiness. The invisible art lies in the ability to cut out what doesn't serve you, leaving only the things that matter most. When you edit your life, you free yourself from unnecessary clutter and distractions. You prioritize only the things that align with your purpose and values. Editing helps you see clearly what is worth your time and energy, and what is simply noise. Here are some ways you can apply this art to your life. Declutter your schedule. If an activity or commitment doesn't add value to your life, let it go. Simplify your tasks. Focus on fewer, higher impact tasks rather than trying to do everything. Remove negative influences. Whether it's toxic relationships or unhelpful habits, cut out what brings you down. Refine your goals. Evaluate your objectives regularly and make adjustments based on what you truly want to achieve. Editing your life allows you to free up mental space for creativity, reflection, and deeper connections. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by constant demands, you'll find that you have more time for the things that matter most. This invisible art of editing is what helps you keep your focus sharp and your priorities clear. The freedom of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is not just a way to protect your time, it's a freedom that allows you to live a more intentional life. Many people think boundaries are restrictive, but in reality, they are empowering. Without clear boundaries, you can end up being pulled in every direction, overwhelmed by others' needs, and losing sight of what's truly important to you. An essentialist knows that setting boundaries is an essential part of living with purpose. Boundaries allow you to control your time, energy, and focus. They help you decide what you will say yes to and what you will say no to. Setting limits is a powerful way to protect your most valuable resources. Here's how to set healthy boundaries that give you freedom. Know your limits. Be clear about how much time or energy you can realistically give to others. Communicate your needs. Politely but firmly explain your boundaries to others. For example, I can't take on any more work right now, but thank you for asking. Guard your time. Schedule time for yourself and your priorities without feeling guilty about it. Say no without explanation. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your boundaries. Simply saying, no, I can't do that is enough. By setting clear limits, you protect your mental and emotional well being, which gives you the freedom to focus on your highest priorities. Boundaries are not about isolating yourself, they are about giving yourself the space and energy to thrive. When you set boundaries, you stop being a victim of other people's demands and start living life on your own terms. Part 4. Execute. How can we make doing the vital few things almost effortless? Most people believe success comes from working harder and pushing through more tasks. They think that the busier they are, the more productive they must be. But in reality, the secret to getting more done with less effort is creating a buffer. A buffer is the space or time you put between your tasks and commitments. It's the unfair advantage that allows you to approach your work with calmness and clarity. When you're always rushing from one thing to the next, you create a stressful cycle. But when you give yourself room to breathe, you avoid last minute pressure and the constant feeling of being behind. Think about it. When you don't leave room for flexibility, you risk burning out or making mistakes. But by building a buffer, you give yourself time to handle the unexpected, recharge, and focus more on what truly matters. Here's how to build a buffer into your life. Add extra time to your schedule. Instead of booking meetings or tasks back to back, leave space in between. Plan for the unexpected. Life is unpredictable, so account for delays, interruptions, or last minute requests. Build rest into your routine. Give yourself time to recharge between periods of intense focus or work. Slow down to speed up. By avoiding the rush, you can approach each task with more thoughtfulness and efficiency. The buffer isn't just about having extra time. It's about creating the mental space to perform at your best without the constant pressure of deadlines. By giving yourself this advantage, you make the important things easier to accomplish, reducing stress and increasing your effectiveness. Subtract. Bring forth more by removing obstacles. In the quest for productivity, most people think they need to add more tasks, more tools, more meetings, more strategies. But the key to success is often not about adding more. It's about subtracting what doesn't serve you. An essentialist understands that removing obstacles and distractions allows you to focus your energy and resources on what truly matters. By simplifying your life, you free up time, space, and energy for the vital few things that will make the biggest impact. Subtracting isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about eliminating the things that prevent you from excelling in the most important areas of your life. When you remove the non essentials, you create more room for the things that truly move you forward. Here's how to subtract effectively: cut out non essentials, eliminate tasks, commitments, or distractions that don't align with your priorities. Simplify your routines. Look for ways to streamline daily tasks or habits that take up unnecessary time. Remove obstacles from your environment. Create a workspace that promotes focus, free from distractions. Stop multitasking. Focus on one thing at a time to give it your full attention and energy. When you subtract what's unnecessary, you make it easier to do the vital few things that truly matter. The more you eliminate distractions and obstacles, the more effortless it becomes to focus on the work that drives real progress. In the end, less is often more. By doing fewer things but doing them better, you achieve greater success. Progress, the power of small wins. Often, people focus on big dramatic results, thinking that only massive success will make a difference. But the truth is, small wins are the key to long term success. Each small step forward, no matter how tiny, adds up to significant progress over time. An essentialist knows that small wins build momentum. By celebrating the little achievements along the way, you stay motivated and focused on the bigger goal. The key is to focus on making consistent, incremental progress instead of waiting for one big breakthrough. Think about it. When you focus only on huge outcomes, you often feel overwhelmed or discouraged by how far you have to go. But when you break your goals down into smaller, manageable steps, you make the process feel less daunting. Each small victory fuels your drive and makes the next step feel easier. Here's how to leverage the power of small wins. Break down big goals. Instead of aiming for something huge in one go, break your objectives into smaller, more achievable tasks. Track your progress. Keep a record of your small wins and celebrate each milestone. Build consistency. The more you accomplish, the more motivated you'll feel to keep going. Enjoy the journey. Don't wait for the big outcome. Find joy in the small wins along the way. Small wins are the foundation of success. When you focus on making steady progress and celebrating each step, you build the momentum that leads to bigger, more meaningful accomplishments. Flow, the genius of routine. Many people think of routine as rigid and boring, something that limits creativity or spontaneity. But for an essentialist, routine is the secret to achieving excellence in the most important areas of life. It's not about being stuck in a schedule. It's about creating a framework that allows you to work efficiently, think clearly, and achieve your highest potential. When you establish a routine, you remove decision fatigue. You don't waste mental energy deciding what to do next. Instead, you can get into a state of flow, a mental state where you are fully immersed and focused on the task at hand. In flow, time seems to disappear, and you perform at your peak. Here's how to create a routine that leads to flow. Set specific times for your key activities. Schedule your most important tasks at times when you're most focused and energized. Create habits that support your goals. Build routines that align with your most important priorities. Limit distractions. Create an environment where you can work without interruptions, making it easier to get into flow. Stick to your routine consistently. The more you stick to your routine, the easier it becomes to get into flow. Routines don't trap you, they give you the freedom to perform at your best. By simplifying your day with regular habits and scheduling your most important tasks at optimal times, you create the conditions for flow to happen. In flow, your work becomes effortless and your progress becomes unstoppable. Focus. What's important now? In a world full of distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Focus is the skill that separates the essential from the non essential. The ability to ask yourself, what's important now? And direct all your attention to that question is one of the most powerful tools an essentialist can use. When you focus, you become fully engaged in the task at hand, eliminating distractions and unnecessary noise. Focus helps you zero in on what truly matters and prevents you from spreading your energy across too many things. It allows you to make faster, better decisions, and it helps you move forward with confidence and clarity. Here's how to focus on what's important now. Prioritize daily. Each day, ask yourself, what's the one thing I need to accomplish today that will make the biggest impact? Block time for deep work. Set aside uninterrupted time for the tasks that require your full attention and effort. Avoid multitasking. Multitasking might feel efficient, but it only divides your focus and reduces the quality of your work. Learn to say no. Protect your time and energy by saying no to distractions that don't align with your current priorities. When you focus on what's important right now, you bring clarity to your work and your life. Instead of getting overwhelmed by a long to-do list, you concentrate on one thing at a time, making meaningful progress in less time. This clarity allows you to make better decisions and build momentum toward your bigger goals. B. The Essentialist Life. Living an essentialist life isn't about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it better. It's about making conscious choices to focus on the things that truly add value to your life and eliminating everything else. To live as an essentialist is to live with purpose, clarity, and intention. Being an essentialist requires you to reject the pressure to do it all. It's about creating space for the things that matter most and letting go of the distractions, obligations, and non essentials that take up your time and energy. This doesn't mean you give up on life. It means you live more fully by simplifying it. To be an essentialist, clarify your values, know what's most important to you, and let those values guide your decisions. Simplify your commitments. Only say yes to things that align with your purpose and goals. Focus on the vital few. Choose the few tasks that have the greatest impact and eliminate everything else. Live with intention. Make deliberate choices about where you invest your time and energy. Living the essentialist life is about being intentional with your choices so that every decision moves you closer to the life you truly want to live. It's about being mindful of your time, protecting your energy, and focusing on the few things that matter most. By doing less, you actually achieve more. More focus, more impact, and more fulfillment.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me. If you found the video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment.